Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel and to another video. Today we're going to talk all about co-parenting. So whether you are co-parenting, you know someone who is, you are a new co-parent, you've been divorced or separated, whatever the case may be, I hope that this video gives you some hope and some joy and some insights on what I've learned in my co-parenting journey, which has been only a short about 3 years. But I do want to share the things that I've learned and the things that I will continue to apply to my co-parenting relationship and for my child. And of course, I'll probably do an updated video in the future as I learn and grow, because it's definitely always a work in progress, just as everybody is. So I wanted to break down a little bit of my story first, just to give you a little bit of background about who I am and what I've kind of gone through. So I had Alaska, my daughter. She's almost 4. She's actually turning 4 this week on July 4th, which is just, I can't even put it into words. But I had her when I was 19. I'm 23 right now. And her dad was 21 when we had her. We lived in a house together, and we lived there for, I don't know, I want to say like almost a year. And then we started our co-parenting journey after we separated, and he moved out when she was almost about a year. Honestly, like the time frames are just kind of like up and down. It took a while for him to move out. It took a while for me to eventually move out of that house, and then I'm here now. I'll be the first to say that co-parenting relationships and the whole timeline, honestly, is really, really messy. Things kind of go back and forth and on and off. Sometimes it's not a clear split. Sometimes it is. But normally when there's kids, it builds. It's something that you try to work on, and then you realize if it absolutely does not work out, then the final result is separation or divorce. It's not anybody's first option. No one's excited to get divorced. No one is excited to get separated. It's just something that eventually has to happen if that relationship isn't working out for you. And that's exactly what happened with me. And I see this a lot in other relationships as well too, but it can be difficult to transition from seeing somebody as your ex-spouse or your ex-boyfriend to your child's other parent and then learning this co-parenting relationship. It can definitely be a bit of a transition, and take your time with that. But I think it's really, really important to keep all the communication focused on the child. That's what I do. And I think that really helps, especially if you're still in the healing process, because that's what you're going to be continuing to do. So might as well just focus on that. So the next thing I wanted to touch on is communication. Keeping the communication about the kids is really vital, but also making sure that you're not saying anything that's negative or bashing towards the other parent. Kids are really impressionable, especially when they're young. They love both their parents. They want their parents to get along with one another. So when they hear things like that, it can affect the way that they view the other parent or even the parent who's saying it. And any negativity in general, I feel like, is just unhelpful towards the common goal. And the common goal should always be the health and happiness of your child. Everything else can come second. So if you can just kind of focus the communication on the child and on the problem, and if there is some sort of compromise that needs to be dealt with, everybody knows that conflict is inevitable, and conflict is going to happen with any two people. Even if you were together and happily married, there's still going to be conflict. So of course there's going to be conflict in co-parenting relationships. I feel like one of the main things when it comes to conflict is picking your battles. So deciding what you really want to stand your ground on and what you feel like, okay, you can kind of let it go, because there's no way you can fight every single battle that comes up. There are going to be times where you're going to have to kind of step aside and step away from the situation and let the other parent have what they want. And the other person should do the same for you as well. You should be able to stand your ground if it's something that you feel like is really important, and something that you feel very strongly on, whether it's a view that you have, something that you want the child to grow up doing or being a part of, or whether it's spending a day with them that you really wanted to spend a day with, and it doesn't work with the schedule or whatnot. Whatever that conflict may be, it's up to you to decide whether or not you want to continue, I don't want to say fighting for it, but continue pressing for it, or it's something that you want to let go. And again, like, you want to try and minimize conflict as much as possible, but healthy communication can lead to less of a conflict and more of a compromise. So whether that means if you guys can't agree on something, you just don't do it at all, or you find a way to make sure that you can still implement something that you want for your child that the other parent doesn't agree with on your terms, but not maybe as severely as you had hoped. There are so many different examples that I can give you, but they'll come up in your co-parenting journey on their own time, whether it may be classes you want them to take, a school you want them to go to, bigger things, or even smaller things like spending an event with them. Or so the best thing to do is just ask yourself, how much does this really mean to me? Is this something that's really worth fighting for, or is this something that I can kind of let go and not really get all worked up about it? So that's up to you to decide. And then the last thing I want to talk about is finances. A lot of people have child support and custody cases through the courts. It takes a lot of time, to be honest, and it takes a lot of paperwork and a lot of effort and can be really, really stressful. I would personally say that if you can, avoid the courts. If it's something that's extremely necessary, if the other parent was abusive or you don't speak to them at all and you're solely a single parent, then I would say you definitely should go to the courts. That should be the first place you go to. But if you guys are on speaking terms and you can come to compromises and agreements for your child in a healthy manner and it's healthy for the child, then I would say it's much easier to just keep that communication between you two and then just split everything 50-50. So anything that you are paying for, whether it's school tuition or it's diapers or it's like groceries for the child, whatever it may be, just splitting it 50-50 and just sending the money back and forth through PayPal or Venmo or whatever it may be, a check. I feel like that's just the easiest option, and then letting the courts be a bit of a last resort. And so if you can figure that out and iron out the little details when it comes to finances and when it comes to scheduling, when it comes to custody and child support, it can be easier to go through the other parent. But the courts definitely do help set things in place when it comes to those decisions. So then again, it's up to you and it's up to the other parent. But you definitely want to do your research and you want to look into it on your own. Just do as much research as you can, ask the people around you, and then get a few different perspectives and views before you make a final decision if that's something that you are considering. And the last thing I just wanted to talk about was when you're not with your child, enjoy that time. It can feel very lonely, especially when you're first starting to co-parent. It can be very strange, especially if you've been around your child for so long, or if you've been with the other parent and the child for so long. It can be very lonely to be completely by yourself. But I promise you, it's such a rewarding and beautiful journey because you get to spend all of this time on your own and you get to evolve on your own and you get to grow in ways that you didn't think that you could being on your own. And I think that's extremely important. And especially as a mom, it's really good to take time to yourself so you can take this time to just like pamper yourself, go out, get your nails done, get some shopping done. If you need like groceries for the house, if you need to clean the house, which I'm sure you do if you're a mom, then take the time to do that. But don't feel guilty that you're not there or you're missing certain events or certain days with your child. I feel like that a lot. And I think it's very normal, but it's something to take advantage of, I think, to do things for yourself. And that way you build and stimulate this relationship with yourself. You get to go out and do things with your friends or spend more time with family, whatever it may be. And before you know it, the day will come where your child will be back in your arms again, whatever schedule you might have. The time definitely flies by. So don't feel guilty like you're not spending enough time with your child because you're co-parenting. I think that's a very, very common thing to feel. But you're doing what's best for your child because what is best for you is what is best for your child. If it's good for you not to be in a relationship or with somebody who was toxic or has behavior that isn't going to change, or something just isn't working out, it might not even be a toxic situation. If it's something that you're just not seeing eye to eye on and the relationship ended up not working out, don't kick yourself for it forever and don't blame yourself. Just because the child is going to grow up in two different homes, that just means it's going to be the better, healthier option for them and for you. And at the end of the day, that's the right thing to do. So I just wanted to give that little bit of encouragement and uplifting words to you and just let you know that you're not alone. And if you ever need someone to talk to, my DMs are always open. You can always message me. I'm going to leave my links down below. And definitely just make sure that you find support if you're going through a co-parenting journey or if you're going through a separation or divorce. You can find support groups in your area, local ones, or just making sure that you're hanging out and opening up and venting to your friends, your close family, or a therapist. I think that's extremely important to make sure that you have someone to talk to and an inner circle that you're constantly letting in so that you can share those triumphs and victories and also the burdens and struggles with them as well. So that's all I have to say about co-parenting. I'm sure I'll make more videos on this in the future as I have more to learn and share as well, but this is pretty much it for today, and I really hope that this was helpful. If it was, please give it a thumbs up or give me a comment. I would love to hear what you guys have to say and hear more about your co-parenting journey or your single parenting journey. I love hearing from you guys, so please reach out. All right, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.